The real history of Ertuğrul, who knew that one TV show could enlighten us in so many ways. As the Muslim world is sucked into the hysteria of Ertuğrul and similar Ottoman dramas, it's crucial that we uncover what is historical fact, and what is purely for entertainment purposes, if we want to truly benefit from the history of the Ottoman period. I too love watching Ertuğrul and similar shows like The Magnificent Century and Yunus Emre, which teach so many great life lessons, not to mention incorporate Quranic stories and hadith. But at the same time, instead of creating fictional heroes, let's celebrate the truth in the history and appreciate our heroes for what they actually did. I have collated information from various Turkish sources and posts on social media with references from emerging information about the many valiant characters that we have grown to love from this TV series. This is not a complete account of their lives, but I have included the information that is historically proven. Inshallah, as more translations come to light, we can piece together more about their lives. Enjoy. Ertuğrul Bey. Ertuğrul is the father of Osman. With the small part of Kayı tribe, Ertuğrul, with only 400 tents, went on the challenging path toward the west and made foundation for one of the greatest empires. After Sultan Alauddin was poisoned by Sadettin Köpek, he revolted against Köpek's government, and proclaimed his own state, the city of Söğüt, its capital. His love and respect for his wife was widely known. He had 4 sons with Halim Sultan, and he died at 90 years old. The last 10 years of his life were spent quietly in his tribe, when due to the old age, he transferred all his responsibilities to his youngest son Osman. A historical proof of his life are the coins minted by Osman, which identify Ertuğrul as the name of his father, but beyond this not much is known about him apart from folktales. There is information and historical facts about him that are kept in Turkish archives, within Ibn Arabi's chronologies, in Western archives about Templars, in Byzantine's chronologies and in legends, but this information only amounts to around 7 pages of sources according to the actor Engin Altan Düzyatan, who gave life to this great character. Despite this, Engin considers it a great privilege to play Ertuğrul, as he was the first person in Turkish history to move away from the nomadic lifestyle and look to establish a state that went on to last 600 years. We do know he was buried in Söğüt in 1280. Around his tomb are graves of Halim Sultan, Haim Mother, his sons, Gündüz, Savcı Bey, Saru Batu and Osman, his brother Dündar, Turgut Alp, Samsa Alp, Abdurrahman, and many others of his Alps, who reached Söğüt with Ertuğrul Bey. The ones that were not buried there, died along the way. Osman I. Osman is known as the father of the Ottoman Empire, as from his Beylik Principality, the expansion of the Ottoman territory began. In the history books you will often see Ottoman rule referred to as the Osmanli dynasty. Osman came very late to his parents. He was born late in Ertuğrul and Halim's life. When Osman was born, 1258, Ertuğrul was around 67 years old, and as Halim was older too, when normally women cannot have children anymore, he was considered as a miracle sent by God. Historians consider a black hole in Ottoman history during Osman's life, as what is written about him was uncovered 100 years after he died. Gündüz and Sungurtekin. They did not support Ertuğrul's path, and as we know, and over time faded in history. They lived a quiet and unremarkable life, not much is known or written about them. There are only verbal accounts, which were told by people through generations. According to that, they suffered big losses during a great Mongol invasion, and what was left of them, they lived subserviently under the Mongols' rule. Dündar Bey. He was a brave and renowned warrior, a good-hearted and loving man, devoted to his brother, his tribe, and his family. But history documents him as a weak personality, and he made a lot of mistakes and throughout his long life. He died aged 92 or 93, by Osman's hand. He rebelled against one of Osman's decision, and that was the last straw for Osman. Turgut Alp. He was one of the greatest and most renowned warriors in Turkish history, a blood brother to Ertuğrul and his best follower and supporter, a very smart and capable man. He lived an unusually long life, even for our time. He outlived Ertuğrul Bey by 35 years, and he was killed in a battle, with his legendary battle axe in his hand, aged 125 years old. After Ertuğrul passed away, Turgut became the main support to Osman, and when Osman established his sultanate he rewarded Turgut with the highest position, as a governor of the new state. Bamzi Bayrak. He was a legendary hero. His life has been described in the Book of Medieval Ottomans chronologies of that time, titled The Book of Dede Korkut. He was a fierce warrior, good-hearted and very funny man. His love life was legendary, since his heart was divided between two loves. He spent 16 years in a dungeon in Byzantine, and the princess, who lived in that fortress, fell in love with him and helped him escape. It is not known when he died or how long he lived, only that he lived fairly long for that time, and that he was ambushed by trickery and killed, leaving behind a wife and children. We may only guess how long this character will be kept in this series. Ibn Arabi. As many of us know, Ibn Arabi is a famous chronologist, mystic, philosopher, poet, sage. He is one of the world's great spiritual teachers. Ibn Arabi was born in Murcia, Andalusia, in Spain in 1165, and his writings had an immense impact throughout the Islamic world and Christian world. The universal ideas underlying his thought are of immediate relevance today. He was great inspiration and support to Ertuğrul Bey. He died 1240, aged 75. After his death, Ertuğrul Bey continued to draw support from Ibn Arabi, through his numerous writings, books, diaries, teachings and his other spiritual works, and through his followers. Halim Sultan. She was a Seljuk princess, very dedicated to her husband and his greatest supporter. She gave up her title and her palace's life due to her love and dedication to Ertuğrul Bey. Through her marriage to Ertuğrul Bey, Seljuk Turks and Oghuz Turks, two greatest Turkish branches, were irrevocably united by blood ties. Haim Mother. She lived a long life and she came with them all the way to Söğüt. She was a smart, caring and brave woman, who acted as the bey of her tribe, after Suleyman Shah had died. She was widely much respected and she was called the Mother of the People. It is not clear whether she gave birth to Gündüz. She certainly brought him up. According to one line of sources, Gündüz was her own son. But, since Suleyman Shah had lost his first wife, before marrying Haim, there are some who believe that Gündüz was born by that young woman. Suleyman Shah. He was a greatly respected figure of that time. He had 4 sons with Haim Mother. He died by drowning in river Euphrates, and the spot near Aleppo, where he was buried in a sacred place for Turks which is now in modern-day Syria, and that territory still belongs to Turkey. It is guarded by Turkey's military guards and you need a passport to get in there, to see the mausoleum of Suleyman Shah. Although due to the emergence of ISIS and the recent ruin of shrines and tombs from extremists, the remains were temporarily removed last year due to the situation around Aleppo, and brought to Turkey to preserve. Saadettin Köpek. According to Ottoman sources, Saadettin Köpek is considered an ambitious and evil man. His only good quality was his devotion to his state. He eventually managed to kill Sultan Alauddin, his second wife, the Ayyubid princess, and their 2 sons by poisoning in 1238. He then proclaimed Sultan Alauddin's third and oldest son, from his first marriage, as a new sultan through whom Köpek gained a total power. However, only 1 year later, he was hanged from the palace wall. Known as Ertuğrul Bey's right-hand man in the TV series, but there is so much more to his story. Artuk Bey, also known as Son of Eksuk or Ibn Eksuk, was a Turkish general of the Great Seljuk Empire in the 11th century. He was the Seljuk governor of Jerusalem between 1085 to 1091. Artuk Bey lived in Kudüs up to his death in 1091. Artuk Bey was one of the commanders of the Great Seljuk Empire army during the Battle of Manzikert in 1071. After the battle, he took part in the conquest of Anatolia on behalf of the Seljuk Empire. He captured the Yeşilırmak Valley in 1074. He also served the Sultan by quashing a rebellion in 1077. His next mission was a campaign to capture Amid, modern Diyarbakir, from the Marwanids. In this campaign he quarreled with the commander-in-chief Farudevlid, who tended to make peace with Marwanids. In a surprise attack he defeated reinforcements to Marwanids. However, when the Sultan Malik Shah I heard about the event, he suspected Artuk Bey of dissension. Artuk Bey left the battlefield and attended to Tutush I, who was Malik Shah's discordant younger brother in Syria, in 1084. In 1086 he was instrumental in defeating Süleyman, the Sultan of Seljuks of Turkey, in a battle between Süleyman and Tutush. The Beylik of Artukids was named after him, founded 11 years after his death by his sons. His valiant sons are El-Ghazi ibn Artuk, who battled Baldwin II of Edessa at the Battle of Hab, Syria, 1119, but lost, and Söğüt ibn Artuk, the ally of the hot-tempered Tugtekin Bey, the governor of Damascus, against the Crusaders in 1104 at the Battle of Harran near Raqqa. On this battle the Seljuk army finally captured Crusader knights Baldwin I of Edessa, who called himself King of Tripoli and Jerusalem, and Jocelyn of Courtenay, who called himself Prince of Galilee. although they managed to escape later. Söğüt ibn Artuk becomes famous and a true honor to the late Artuk Bey. Emir al-Aziz of Aleppo. Al-Aziz Muhammad ibn Ghazi (1213–1236) was the Ayyubi emir of Aleppo and the son of Az-Zahir Ghazi R and grandson of the great Salahuddin al-Ayyubi R, the liberator of Jerusalem from the Crusaders and Templars. His mother was Dayfa Khatun R, the daughter of Salahuddin's brother al-Adil R. Al-Aziz was aged just 3 when his father Az-Zahir Ghazi died in 1216 at the age of 45. He immediately inherited his father's position as ruler of Aleppo. A regency council was formed, which appointed Shihab ad-Din Ertuğrul R as his guardian. Ertuğrul was a Mamluk of Az-Zahir Ghazi and the effective ruler of Aleppo for the next 15 years. Al-Aziz did not take actual control of power until the age of 17, at which point he retained Ertuğrul as his treasurer. In general, he avoided becoming drawn into the complex disputes between different members of the Ayyubi dynasty and concentrated instead on strengthening the defenses and infrastructure of Aleppo. Among the construction works begun by Az-Zahir Ghazi and completed by Al-Aziz Muhammad were the re-fortification of the citadel, and, within it, the building of the palace, the mosque, the arsenal, and the water cisterns. Al-Aziz is known to have married Fatima Khatun, daughter of Al-Kamil, who apparently shared his passion for building and commissioned the construction of 2 madrasas in Aleppo. Al-Aziz died on 26 November 1236 at the age of just 23. His eldest son, An-Nasir Yusuf, was only 7 years old, so Al-Aziz's mother Dayfa Khatun assumed the regency. Surprisingly, Al-Aziz's daughter, Ghazaya Khatun, married the Seljuk Sultan of Rum, Kaykusra II, Ghiyaseddin ibn Kayqubad.